What's pain got to do with it? This journey called life. Good morning. My name is Father Frank Buckley. I am the host of our morning meditation group, Flourishing During Times of Uncertainty. Happy Friday. Today is going to be a great day. I'm happy you are all with us this morning. This is a three-part program. Today, for our inspiration, we draw from Father Richard Rohr on his daily meditation for today about, of all things, pain. I'm also reminded of one of my favorite lines in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous: pain is the touchstone of spiritual progress. Oh boy, let's get ready for the weekend. Second is the heart of the matter. It's about what life is really all about, its fierceness and its preciousness. And we discover that this when we get out of the box and we just come home to the present moment. I'm also reminded of a favorite book of mine, The Life You Save May Be Your Own. And I really believe at the heart of spiritual transformation is a morning practice. I wish I could give you an easier, softer way, but I really don't know one. We give the first hour of the day to God. We prioritize what matters most, and then we just let the day unfold as it will. And then we end the morning program with a little Jesuit Ignatian examine. And on Fridays, I'd like to look over the week and just notice where we might have missed God, missed opportunity, or even more importantly, to really dropping down and noticing and paying attention to our relationship with God and where that relationship has come alive. So let's begin with Richard Rohr. You're going to have to bear with me with technology because I have him on the web page. So just give me 1 second to get to that. It's called, if you're looking for it, Paula, you always want references. I'm trying to do better. Center for Action and Contemplation, Richard Rohr Meditation. And the title, of course, you know, I love transformation. I have a little something for our new people on Mondays on alchemy and transformation that I think you will enjoy. So stay tuned. But today, let's draw from Richard Rohr, titled for week 37 of the calendar year, Wounded Healers, and the title for Friday, September 18th, 2020, which is today, Transforming Our Pain. Let me make sure I've got the volume for you because I want to be sure you can hear this. Here we go. If we were to name the Christian religion, I would probably call it the way of the wound. You heard that correctly, the way of the wound. Jesus agrees to be the wounded one, and we Christians are these strange believers in a wounded healer. We come to God not through our strength, but through our weakness. We learn wisdom and come to God not by doing it all right, but by doing it all wrong. If you were going to create a religion, would you think of creating as your religious image a naked, bleeding, wounded person? It is the most unlikely image for God, the most illogical image of omnipotence. None of us in our wildest imaginations would come up with it. It must expose a central problem of human existence. For God to come into the world in this form and in this way. Sadly, we Christians have become accustomed to the cross. Perhaps we have domesticated it. We no longer receive the shock and the scandal of all this images of failure is saying. Being wounded, suffering, and dying are the quickest and most sure paths to true living. Using a scapegoat is our much preferred method. We deny our pain, sins, and suffering and project them somewhere else. The ancient method still works so well that there's no reason to think it is going to end or change. Until we are enlightened by grace, we don't even see it. It remains safely hidden in the unconscious where it plays itself out. Once we spot and stop the pattern, the game is over. The cross of Jesus was a mirror held up to history, so we could stop the scapegoating pattern and stop participating in it. Only the true self, the great self, the God self, can carry the anxiety within us. The little self just cannot do it. People who do not pray cannot live the Gospels because the self is not strong enough to hold the anxiety and the fear. If we do not transform our pain, we will always transmit it. Always someone else has to suffer because we do not know how to suffer. And that's what it comes down to. Let me read that again. Always someone else has to suffer because we do not know how to suffer. And that is what it comes down to. Most people are like electric wires. What comes in is what goes out. Someone calls us a name and we call them one back. That is, most people pass on the same energy that is given to them. Now compare an electric wire to those big gray transformers you see on utility poles. Dangerous current or voltage comes in, but something happens inside that gray box, and what comes out is, in fact, now helpful and productive. That is exactly what Jesus does with suffering. That is what Jesus did. He did not return the negative energy directed at him, not during his life nor when he hung on that cross. He held it inside and made it into something much, much, much better. That is how he took away the sin of the world. He refused to pass it on. Until the world understands that, there will be no new world. Thank you, Father Rohr. I can't think of a better way to begin our weekend. And one of the ways we refuse to pass it on is through contemplative prayer. We simply give this next 20 minutes to God. We sit down. You can engage your sacred word. Turn the gaze inwards. Listen to the traffic or external sounds. Drop down to the ocean floor and enjoy a little deep rest. Let's begin. So I invite you to turn off all technology. I will set the timer for 20 minutes. Please get comfortable. I'm going to lower the lights. I invite you to take your shoes off. You may either plant the soles of the feet on the ground or follow the Buddha's way and cross the legs, whatever feels comfortable and good and right to you. I invite you to lower the eyes. And let's begin and end with the sound of the bell. Listen, listen. The sound of the bell returns us to our true home. As always, let's begin with diaphragmatic breathing, that is breathing deeply as possible into the lower belly. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Together, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, bringing fresh oxygen to the brain and the body. Last time, deeply as possible. Inhale and exhale. Continue to breathe on your own. Take the attention to the traffic, the external sounds. Drop down and enjoy a little deep rest. Please continue. Gently bring your attention back to the room. If the eyes were closed, just open the eyes. Let's circle wrists one way, then the other. Shake out anything you've been holding on to. And just for 10 breaths, people seem to enjoy yesterday doing a little happening technique, which is wonderful for times of toxic stress like during a pandemic. And you just gently, soothingly rub your arms 10 times. Wonderful. And then rub the hands together pretty briskly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently place them next to your heart. Bring a little warmth and love to yourself. Inhale and exhale. Release the hands. I love the Zen expression. You can search the whole world over and never find anyone as deserving of love as yourself. And while we're on Zen, I also love the Zen idea of asking yourself, what is your life all about? To be alive, it's a gift that is both fierce and precious. And if we're not careful, we can miss it. We can get all hung up in the needs and the worries and the anxiety of the little self Or we can get out of the box, take 20 minutes of meditation, contemplation, letting go of thoughts, dropping down, and experiencing the kingdom within. We can experience a miracle in our everyday, ordinary lives. So let's just look over the week. One of the things we really try to build here is relationship and community with God, but also community with one another. So feel free to drop your comments in the box about where God's come alive this week. And for me, I'll start with the Flourishing and Recovery group yesterday. One of the people in the group who I've known for many years, and when it came time to talk about the meditation, I introduced the idea of listening to the traffic. He said, I have a resentment with Father Frank that he took 6 years to teach us this meditation. And I said, well, I just learned it myself. But it really is a really beautiful practice of just the hamster wheel of thoughts in any given moment. We can listen to the traffic, we can listen to the external sounds, get out of the box, and enjoy a little deep rest to start our morning. So I really appreciated his humor, but behind the humor was a little bit of a truth. He really made contact with his true self. And it's so interesting as a psychologist and a priest, if someone starts to decompensate, to go south, we're all over it. Like we take it seriously. But when someone has an epiphany, a moment of clarity, a little peace and serenity, we all squint and are suspicious of it. But we also know we are on a Jesuit campus. I love St. Ignatius because he will again and again remind us that God cannot be outdone in generosity, and we either find God in the world right in front of us, or we don't find God at all. That God is really rooted in our experience. Which the second thing that went well, I'm doing spiritual direction with some of the students at the Jesuit School of Theology, Berkeley, and we had a Zoom meeting last night with one of my original teachers during theology, Father George Murphy, and a lot of the students that I went to school with who were doing spiritual direction, literally all over the world, were present. So that was really wonderful to see the great work going on at JST. And then, excuse me, of course, the last thing that's been a theme this whole week for me is the power of community. I am so grateful really to have each of you, the way you put your comments in the box, the way you show up every morning, the way we build a community, to really move in the direction of setting, what Ignatius said was, setting the world on fire through such a simple practice of just being contemplatives in action. And as much as the world might tell us otherwise, Ignatius invites us to put the accent on contemplative. So thank you for being with us throughout the week. If you know people who are struggling in the pandemic, who are looking for a way to get out of the box, definitely pass this little community on to them, and have a beautiful weekend. God bless you.